But either way, there we go. Back into the game. We'll be kicking this off in a second. And you were saying, yeah, Joe, he had a couple of great moments. Robo as well on the AWP did fairly well. And on the other side, Gambit, we didn't get to see their match, but I can tell you this, when they did play against Simon Gaming, they went 5 rounds on the T side. And 10 on, actually they won on the C, or actually they lost on the CT, so it doesn't even matter that one. And Simon Gaming was saying to us yesterday, we were talking to their CEO, Eldar, he was saying they would rather play against Nemiga than against Gambit again in the match later on.
Well, yeah, they just said they feel a lot more comfortable against them, but it's not up to them, it's up to the 2 teams in the server at the moment, and already we're going to see the wraparound through Ivy coming in from Gambit as they look to try and make their way onto the A side. They do have a little bit of a lurk back over towards Pop, and well, the trade's coming in early on, but the CT side look like they're coming out on top at the moment in these battles, but T's looking to try and trade things back. Lollipop raining death down from above, but he'll be traded eventually. And it's left into a 2v2, but Mo very low on HP. It's going to be more down to the youngster Exile. Looked like he came under quite a bit of pressure yesterday. Well, a lot on his shoulders, of course, coming straight into this Gambit roster, a legendary roster at that, but realistically, he needs to be the one to step up here. Somehow Mo's still surviving. Just one bullet will be enough to put him down, and it looks like they've managed to double back towards the B side, which should at least guarantee them a bomb plant.
I actually did not expect this to happen, considering we had Mo just tucked away on top of outside sight, looking over towards connectors, able to sneak his way through, especially with Nemiga giving away both of their CT positions. Now into the afterplant situation. Hitmouse is going to have that kit, so there's a chance they can easily defuse this. Not to mention on top of sight, it's going to be Mo, and he's going to be dropped right off the bat here. I don't think Gio's going to actually stick this one as a light, or Hitmouse, sorry, towards the back of sight is the one with the kit, but there we go. Exile's going to peek a little bit too far. Gio will be able to lock this one down and get. Then we get the pistol round here on Train. And I'd say a much needed pistol round too.
Yeah, I would say that as well, because I think we know that Gambit are going to have a stronger CT side. I've always said that when watching this team that their CT sides have been very solid. I think Mo is such an excellent player when it comes to sort of the positional play on the CT side, especially of Train and Overpass. They're his 2 maps where you just don't really want to play against him. So I think he's going to be pinnacle again. Although yesterday, I believe he did have a pretty damn good game, and still it just wasn't enough for them to drag it through. So needs to be somebody there with him. They're actually going to go for quite a risky force buy into this one. Most of the time you see sort of AKs thrown over, giving the stars an opportunity to try and, well, shine. But in this case, they've actually gone heavy into the MAC-10s. They're almost going a Vega squadron route with the SMGs. One Galil at least onto Mo. He is normally the man with the extra range, but this time not in case with an AWP. It's with a Galil.
Problem is, there's a lot of head armor. Full head armor on the side of Nemiga here. So it's not like the SMG is going to do too well. However, if you can close these distances with these smokes, try to force a close quarter, fight, you might actually be able to win out on these. We can see 2 people pushing towards Ivy. Hitmouse going to be tucked away on top of sight. Joe's going to be overrun over towards Ivy as he eventually gets picked off, and that's going to be, more importantly, now weapon potentially picked up here for Gambit to have 2.
Yeah, no, Dosia has already managed to retrieve one of the rifles, and this is not the start they were looking for. Some Young's already sort of disagreeing with you about the MAC-10 and range, because he did fantastically with it yesterday, but yeah, this is not going well at the moment for Nemiga, and they may not be able to capitalize off the early round win, and well, rebuying's not going to be easy. Mo is just wrecking him at the moment. The second kill he's got with that Galil, and Robo now on to just 11 HP. He's got so much left to do, but does manage the second. Even if it's just an extra bit of money, that's something to bring into the next round. But the fact is, Bondik is there to finish it, his second of the round, and Gambit, they're on the board.
Well, with high risk comes high reward, and there you see Gambit risking everything in that last round. They do secure it and tie things up at 1 apiece. Thing is, both sides probably going to force back into this anyways, because they know the buys on the other side are not going to be that phenomenal. You have what M4 picked up for Robo, a couple of CZs, P250, even another CZ in there for Gio. Again, it's going to be hard, I think, for Nemiga to pull this one off, because they don't have a lot of utility behind this. They have a couple of smokes they can use to, again, get in close quarters. But Gambit, they're already barreling down on the center site.
Yeah, I like this. Switch up the pace, try and get more aggressively in towards this B side. Obviously, the pistol's not going to be the best in these sort of scenarios, but they have rotated very quickly. All 5 players already hit for the CT side, and Joe's going to kick things off. There's a chance they'll get overwhelmed because they haven't managed to push more aggressively. They're stuck back towards the site. There's still the work being done at the moment. Robo with a double of his own to turn the tide into their favor, but Mir, he's just going to get both. Great kills with the MAC-10. Well, just further development with that weapon, and even an AK picked up.
He picked up 4 kills in that round as well, most importantly. It's going to be a lot of money on his side. Still 5K after what he picked up here in this round. A little bit unfortunate for Nemiga, because you saw Joe. He had an opportunity with that CZ to pick up another 2 kills, but because they were trading off players who were, giving him an angle, He couldn't actually do the damage he needed to finish either one of them off, and unfortunately for him, the reload was a little bit too long to secure much more, as Mer did secure that frag. Now into round 4, Nemiga pretty much going for the full save here. And again, Gambit. I think for Gambit, you know, this is, again, organization, a lot of really well-known players. I think it'd be really surprising to not see them in the major. But the performance yesterday kind of shows they didn't deserve to be.
What I will say, to give a little bit of defense, obviously they're a very new team. And like, I think even there were some people like giving some flack to Blade. Obviously, he's meant to be this sort of overall like massive, almost in-game leader outside the server who's like giving them all of the strategies. But he's always been one that's very good at sort of counter-stratting, like picking apart opponents. That's why Flipside have been so successful in the past, as they would just be able to read all of the opponents. Firstly, some of these opponents not particularly easy to read, but also he doesn't have that much like at least competitive data to really analyze his own team. Like, they haven't played a huge amount of matches in terms of LAN performances. I don't know if they've actually played at all with this full 5, or if they have, they would maybe only be like once. And if that's the case, then now the sort of game yesterday on Train go, okay, well, this was wrong, this was wrong, this was wrong. Right. And he's had the evening to pull this team apart, and I'm sure that's exactly what he's done. I highly doubt they've been sort of chilling at the bar and Blade's been like, we're just being back tomorrow. No, he's going to be the guy to sit there and really like bring home like a new strategy. And to be honest, their T side, okay, it's very early days, but it's already looking a bit better. They've had some changes in pace. They've really gone aggressive into a lot of these rounds, and they've forced sport and made it work with Mac 10s.
Another factor we can't really forget about is Axel. I mean, he's 16.
Yeah.
I think this is basically like his first LAN event. You know, a lot of pressure on him. Yeah, there's no crowd here to watch him, but there's still going to be people who are going to be keeping a strong eye on him, wanting to see if he can perform in these high-pressure situations. And I think it's a little bit of a learning curve for him. And maybe as the tournament does go on, if they can obviously win here today, they'll be able to see him grow more and more.
Oh, already bit of a trade in damage. We've got the AWPs coming in onto both sides, but a severe lack of utility for the CTs already into this round. A minute left on the clock. They're left with 1 smoke, 3 flashbangs. Smoke is over towards the B site, which I think is an important thing because it gives a little bit of hope for Hitmouse to actually slow down any sort of push. But let's be real, if we look at the map at the moment, it doesn't look like they're going in that direction. Although, as I say that, Caster Curse, they start actually rotating back around. And with 35 seconds left on the clock, there's a chance that Hitmouse may be having quite a few Gambit players pushing his way. Dosie's going to try and make a little bit of noise on the other side of the map, but the fact is, it is just going to be that one man to try and defend versus the bombardment of Gambit.
You do see some pop dog control picked up for Nemiga, which they're absolutely going to need as this CT half goes on. But look at this. It feels like Gambit got into this inner site without really much contested. They didn't really use any smokes to block anything off. They just kind of walked straight in. Axel picks up the first frag out of MDS. And I was looking for more here as he's continuing to push in towards the CT side of the inner site. 4 seconds left. Is the bomb even being planted? The bomb finally going to go down the nick of time. Hitmouse actually push up and take down the carrier, who actually went for the plant. Now it's all Doja in a 1-on-2. Joe, low on HP, yes. There's, more importantly, a Molotov here at Doja to delay this defuse from coming through. So time is ticking. Hitmouse is going to have the kit. And there goes the Molotov. So there's going to be a time. There's going to be a window here for Nemiga to work with. But Joe is actually super far back here. I don't know if he can cover off all these angles that Doja potentially can come from, but he does spot him out. And Joe will get the kill. So important for them. And Nemiga will be able to pick up this round.
Hitmouse baited out that Molotov. I really like that. He sort of tapped it, but it's not even like he moved back a little bit. He moved all the way back knowing that the Molotov was coming. So smart stuff from him. And yeah, Joe's very well set up. He was quite low on HP, so that was quite risky. Dosia could have easily got that kill if he'd worked out where the final player was. And even if he peeked from upper, I think he had a little bit more of a chance. But obviously that's the power of hindsight coming in. And well, CT side surviving with 2 players, definitely not ideal. The reset could be on because there is a purchase back up, and again, Mo's got his ult.
I just look at that last round though, because if Joe didn't hit that shot, let's say Doja went upper, right, and he just killed Hitmouse and Hitmouse only, the kit's down on the bomb. There's no time for Joe to actually get to the bomb to defuse it, so it's such a really risky play. But hey, it paid off for him. He got them the round, and now potentially he's going to tie things up here if they can take round number 6 as Robo going to be the one to pick up the AWP as well as Joe. So we're going to have the double up set up on the CT side. Robo towards Ivy. Joe actually be right next to him as well on the outer bomb site. Axel trying to push through, trying to take care of Robo, but he picks himself up a double here. Was eventually able to take down Joe, but Robo's still going to be alive. Still has the HP.
Got to be a little bit careful. Like, Gambit managed to get 2 quick kills back. That was a 5v3 for a matter of seconds before both Mo and Mir managed to get picks back. The problem is, man, very low on HP, and he is also the bomb carrier, so a little bit of risk. And Mo actually just on the other side of the map for the rest of his teammates. It's looking like, again, they're doubling back towards B, and, well, if you look at the B side at the moment, nobody there. Completely empty. So it would be a free bomb plant. Obviously, in terms of the way that this B site is now played, probably a little bit different from back in the day, the sort of passive holds, the Molotov bounces. It's much more aggressive. You want to be taking control of the connector, which is seemingly finding quite difficult at the moment for Gambit. Like in the last round, they just weren't able to, and Mo's push is going to be worked out, and that actually gives a bit of information. Is he was more trying to like wrap around, so they're already doubling back towards the B side. May not be needed. Hitmouse is going to fall to the hands of Mir, but 7 HP, a flank already coming in from both sides, and that Molotov almost doing enough to kill him.
This is doable, though, because he's pushing up aggressively against the CTs. The flank from lower inner won't actually catch him out, but the thing is he needs to hit this shot. He's not going to be able to. Robo picks up a 4K here, up to 12 frags, 6 rounds in. This man is going off the hook here. Just trying to talk some things over before they go for the defuse here. But this is going to tie things up, and more importantly, it's going to give him most likely the round advantage, considering Gambit don't have any real economy coming into the next.
Yeah, I think they're just trying to find that secondary AWP.
Yeah.
That will give them the double up setup back in. And yeah, obviously, Gio not able to do too much with his AWP, but I think the double AWP on this map is still pretty damn impressive. And, well, so was Robo in this round, picking up, as you said, 4 of the 5 kills available for his team, and all impactful ones of that. He pretty much single-handedly held down that Ivy position, which completely negated any chance for them to be able to wrap around.
He's like, so this is how you open it. You snap it up. Yeah, you drink with your mouth. Got it. Perfect. He's just show him how to close it. Nah, he's got it. He's got it. He's a pro player. He can do these things. That was great. That was almost as good as Simon. I'm trying to think of his name. The coach from Simon Gaming yesterday. Solar. There we go. Solar, when he was punching his teammate to get him in the zone. That was great last night. But yeah, so a little bit of a timeout coming in.
Well, that was the thing. I think Adren actually responded to that tweet as well, saying like the exact same thing. He was doing it to me in the K23 days, and he was saying that it works. Like, it just gets you pumped up. There was like a lot of people were like, oh, well, I made the joke as well about his arm probably hurting a little bit afterwards, but yeah, when he
helped him.
A bad game, it's one of those things to pick you up, and they definitely did. I think, as it was said, it was 14-6, and they managed to bring it all the way back to OT. So
we know how important confidence is in a game like Counter-Strike. So getting Perfecta's confidence was definitely something they needed to do. Joe gets a great shot on Samir as he goes for the cross. It's going to be pretty much, I mean, it's pretty much an eco for Gambit. They did force up to some armor with Mir. He had the Deagle as well, the CZ and head armor for Bondic, and a couple of pistols here and there.
But these are the moments, well, in the coming rounds where I really start to look more towards Gambit's T side, because the biggest thing for them has always been like sort of being able to pick up those T rounds and getting bogged down quite a bit when it comes to the T side. I don't think they've ever really had a problem with their CT side. They're definitely one of the teams where I've watched them in the past, and they, like, I remember a game versus Franks on Overpass, 13-2 up CT side. Lost 16-14, same thing. This was a long time ago, completely different Gambit roster, but then versus the like Russian version of Method, 14-1 up, lost 16-14. Like, it's just sometimes this team can easily get bogged down on the T side, and they have to really have these phenomenal CT sides to bring it back. Now, they get 5, 6, 7 rounds, and I think they're pretty much set going into the second half, so it's more down to Nemiga to also have a solid CT side. And, well, in this round for Hitmouse, he's done pretty well. He's made himself a cheeky $1,800 and can go into the next round probably buying back up a rifle again.
Really important, though, that he got those 3 kills, because that almost should have been a bomb plant for Gambit if they did take care of him. That would have been a lot of extra money on their side. Maybe a potential double upset for Gambit if they wanted to go that route. We haven't really seen Axel going for AWP at all, unfortunately for Gambit just yet. But I imagine CT side, we're going to see the double upset up at least out of Gambit. And we're going to see Robo and Joe yet again out of Nemiga. We did have a 4-man stack, actually, on the outside bomb for Nemiga in that last round. And they got a great little rotation back towards the inside. Oh, I want to see it once. Live, I want to see it once.
What, the wallbang?
Yeah.
Oh, I was more impressed. They had the nade stack actually going into the A main position from the CT side. So definitely trying to be a little bit more adventurous with their strategies. I think that's one thing that, one of the reasons that Astralis are just so far above everybody else is they have so many little like grenade strategies that they just throw in to completely negate a certain player. Like, especially as on the map of like Overpass again, it's like the triple throw into the B site that they just have to just pretty much destroy certain players as they walk around. I like seeing different teams attempting to do similar stuff. Obviously, anybody in A main there would have been completely ruined. However, looking like it's going to be a B push, although not for now, because the Molotov has pretty much ruined them, and you can already see a third man rotating into this B side. A bit of a risky push now for Gambit as they try to make their way through, but Hitmouse has completely missed his spray. A bit of a mistake for the CT player, and he was the man up close that should allow the bomb to go down. Axile, this is the sort of strategy I was talking about, getting nice and close, trying to stop those rotations. The Molotov's even going to do the job for them. The CTs have helped them out to buy a little bit of time. The only problem is I don't think they've spotted Joe. He's still in the site, but he needs to be the one making some sort of play. The rest of his teammates are completely trapped.
Let's see if he can hit the shot, though. There's a lot of pressure. The smoke. 2 Molotovs and the smoke thrown into Z. And it looks like Nemiga actually is going to go for the save instead of trying to challenge out on this site. So Gambit with 1 frag will take the round. I wonder if they can actually chase for any of these. The thing is, their economy isn't that safe just yet. Though we do have MDS behind them over towards Pop. He could potentially catch them out. They do go for the drop. And Tom, you know, whenever we talk about train, we always talk about Pop Dog control. And we've seen Gambit yet to really challenge that location. We haven't seen any of the double drop downs, the Molotovs to force people out just yet. They've been just pretty much one-track minded going towards this B side over and over again.
Yeah, I can kind of understand it, though, because I don't feel like the CTs have a particularly good hold over the site at the moment. Like, I don't think Joe did enough in that round. Like, if they push into the site, you're in the site, and you don't see anything. Like, I think he needs to be helping his teammates more, because he's the one man actually really in the site. Obviously, also Hitmouse not able to hit shots is a pretty important thing as well, but I think he just needed to do a bit more.
I think if Joe had, like, an M4, that would have been a different situation, because he wasn't able to, like, push up towards Connector to actually allow them to get out of it, since they knew there was a player or two there. Joe's going to get overrun here. AWP still on his side. They going to come in. Somehow he's actually still alive from this one. Wait, what?
I think that might have been his own Molotov or something, just burn him alive. And Mir, oh, that third shot just took the head off of 3. Still, though, MDS has managed to get a couple back, and he now has control of the bomb, so the T's have to be a little bit careful here. This has gone amazingly well at the beginning of the round. Obviously, Joe helping them out a little bit, but realistically, Mir's the one who's done the damage, and MDS is the one that's trying to rectify it. The smoke's going to make things a little bit more difficult for him. Exile's just around the corner. Dosia's not spawning, but luckily the youngster has got the shots available to him. And Gambit, yeah, they now take the lead over on their T side. And I said, I have a lot more faith in their CT side than I do the T, so them already getting 5 rounds is a pretty good sign for them today. I'm
not trying to like call anyone out. I'm just curious about your thoughts about Joe pushing up Ivy like that with AWP. Was that like maybe a try to read into what they were doing to get aggressive on them? Because with AWP with no backup, it seems like you're kind of asking to die unless you hit your shots.
The thing is, yeah, that's the big thing. It's if you hit your shot. If he gets that opening pick, I think his teammate's ready to smoke off, like just around the corner. He's also just going to fall back, and then it's not so much of a problem. But the fact is, it's more Axile's play. The fact that he just goes very aggressive and just sprays around the corner, there's nothing that Joe can do the second he's already taken that much damage. And yeah, unfortunately, he kills himself. But it's quite a common play. I think the reason a lot of players do it, obviously, if there is somebody there and you hit that opening shot, you've got the man advantage. If there isn't, there's so much information from having complete Ivy control that then you can start gambling on other sides. Like you saw in the last round, they had almost 3 players on B and they still managed to lose it. So they want to have that ability to go, okay, there's no one Ivy, so we can now take A main or challenge A main, or we can know that they're not here and in certain portions of the map.
And what gets me is that it's not the first time we've seen Gambit go towards Ivy. This is actually a pretty consistent thing with 3 players, like to boost someone out to get across. Joe, though, is going to be pushed up yet again. And I don't know if they're going to check this angle, at least right off the bat here. Doja almost walking into death here with the smoke going down. He's definitely going for it now, but Joe gets the kill nonetheless. And looks like he'll just barely be able to back away with 5 HP left remaining. But a big kill gives him the man advantage. And luckily for him, he's still able to escape, most importantly with Robo there to help support.
Yeah, that's what you're more expecting to see. It's like him going for that sort of battle early on, then a smoke falling down and him running away. Now, he does get very, very lucky to get away with that with only 5 HP, but the fact is they're now with the man advantage. Obviously, he was a man who didn't really have anything invested, like didn't have much utility, a weapon that, well, definitely not favorable over a lot of the other players on the team. So I think it was a worthwhile risk. They're already in a bit of a detrimental position in this round anyway.
Just to give you guys a quick update, since we do have 2 streams going on at once, we have Runtime up against Prostal on the B stream. And currently on Dust 2, 7-2 in favor of Runtime, with Kalinka at 16 frags and 4 deaths. In the meantime, our Mosar going to take down Lollipop. He's been pretty quiet so far in this map, but he was really quiet on Mirage as well yesterday against Spirit until he got into the later parts of that map. So maybe he's warming up. Robo's going to be overrun eventually. There's a player directly behind him. That's going to be Axile, who, again, gets aggressive. And now Gambit with 4 players left. And to be able to take another round and able to better themselves than what they did yesterday.
Yeah, they're looking far better than we saw yesterday. A lot of different players stepping up. We've seen some impact rounds from Mir. I think Axile as well looks a lot more confident in the way that he's playing. We're seeing aggressive peeks around corners. He's actually trying to run in for fights and actually challenge versus some of these players. So maybe it's just the opponent. Like I think there's a chance that yesterday they got very bogged down against somebody they expected to beat quite easily. So in this situation, Nemiga, a much more sort of established team. They've got off to a good start on the T side. And now this is where they can really reap the rewards. This is where we should see them like pretty much surviving with 4 players, if not 5. You don't really want to be losing anyone in this scenario. Okay, there's a couple of Eagles that could make things a little bit more interesting, but this is where Gambit really want to boost that economy even further. And to be fair, it's in a pretty good state already.
I feel like just any round they get now, after already having 6 on the board on T-side train, is pretty much going to be another nail in the coffin for Nemiga here on this first map. And we still have Inferno to come up next, and then Dust 2 if we do get to a third. So it's not like one map will end the entire series. But again, the pressure, especially I want to go back to Axile. You know, it's one of his first lands, if not his first actual land event.
I think James was saying earlier that he was at Malta with them as well.
Okay,
So well, it might be his second.
First with the team, I guess. Or at least within his early days being 16 years old and realizing that if we lose this, we're out of the major. That's a lot of pressure to put on such a young player's shoulders.
Yeah, for sure. No, either way, it's like this is the lead up to the biggest tournament, one that Gambit have also won in the past, so I think there's added pressure to succeed. Like, obviously for a lot of CIS teams, like getting into the major qualifier or even just through the minors is a big deal, but for Gambit, there's so much more added pressure because of the success they've had in the past. So this is not like one of the other smaller organizations where, hey, look, we get to the minors, great. There's a lot of like competition, but yeah, it's success. For them, I think obviously for Windstrike as well, with past success as well, it's a lot more pressure.
Hitmouse did die at the end, by the way. Did get overrun. Eventually wasn't able to secure a weapon. So it was a clean sweep there for Gambit, only losing 1 in that last round. But 7-4. We're going to have a timeout come in here for Nemiga just to talk some things over. And they definitely need to, because 4 rounds is not what they wanted to see. And again, every round Gambit get from this point on is just spelling demise on this map. And it's such a comfortable map, or it should be a comfortable map for both, you know, these two teams. And Gambit, within the last 5 months, actually hasn't even won on this map. They played it only twice, to be fair.
I will say that obviously this is one of the maps, this and Overpass are the 2 maps that I've always put for Gambit. Like, I think they're easily their 2 best maps, mainly because I think Mo is so fantastic at both, but even just the team in general are always very good at this map. Mir at the moment currently 14-6, so it looks like he's had a sort of turnaround from yesterday. Really is performing very well indeed, and I think that's the difference maker. And the fact is they haven't even got onto the CT side, and that's where we see Mo do some of his best work as well. So this is now starting to get a bit of a worry for Nemiga. I think they need to get the last few rounds.
It does worry me too for the series. If we get onto Inferno and Mo's feeling comfortable like this, things have become even more difficult for Nemiga. So, again, tournament lives on the line here for them. Lollipop, only 2 kills, 9 deaths.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying they need that one player to really step up. Robo's been able to do that so far. He had, like, I think, 12 frags in the first 6 rounds. But Lollipop was such a staple for them. He had so many high-pressure rounds
like
on his shoulders.
He was just playing the position very well. Now, I will say it could be just down to the map, maybe not feeling quite as confident on trainers on Mirage. Like, Mirage is their most played map, so obviously he's going to play that one week in, week out against multiple opponents, but that's good timing. A little bit of luck can be something to get you right back into the game. Axel looking to try and just leave that pop dog spot, but Bondik's actually going to sneak his way back in, so maybe looking to try and trade that kill round back. MDS is homed in on that very angle, so he's got to be very careful peeking into this one. The rest of the team, in the meantime, still lurking around the idea of pushing in towards this site. They do peek into A main, hoping that maybe Mo can grab an angle, but Robo in such an aggressive spot, and he actually drops the bomb out into the open as well. That is not the start to this round that they wanted. 30 seconds left as now the T's try and make their way in, and this is looking much better from the CT side already, with what looks like an impossible scenario for the T's.
Bondik on 1 HP as well. I was just uncharacteristically going to miss that shot, unfortunately. And with 10 seconds left, it looks like he's just trying to escape to save this AWP. And ideally, he should be able to, as Nemiga doesn't really have, again, a stable economy as they've lost round after round, 4 straight so far. Even Bondik with 1 health will be able to save the AK into the next. But yeah, Nemiga, actually interesting hold for me. seen MDS, and I think that was Robo with the kind of like crossfire. You had Robo watching towards T mid, and of course you had Lollipop in looking towards Pop Dog. It's an interesting hold. It's an interesting spot for me, actually.
I think that was a lot of that was more of like a counter to the Ivy control, because they've just been losing it so often that they more played aggressively towards the other spots and then had somebody spotting from the back. So a little bit more of a stack further forward. It worked wonderfully. The fact is, the likelihood of it working again is fairly slim. They need to be more dynamic in the way that they're playing, and by the looks of things, they are switching things up once more. A little bit more presence over towards B, but Mir, he snuck out. Lollipop, he's going to win the battle. That was an important one to take early on, and looks like through the smoke, Dozier attempted to sneak back out, but they're definitely being a little bit more regimented in the positions they're holding, as Jo was more than ready for any sort of Ivy shenanigans.
Seems to be that Gambit is also getting stuck in some sort of repetitive play, because they've hit outside multiple rounds in a row, where previously they were hitting inner time and time again. They're not really switching things up too much. Robo's going to take the head off of Mo, take down Axile as well. Big double kill for him as the rest of the team is going to rotate in. It's be Bondic by himself, and eventually being finished off. And Nemiga have been able to take now 2 straight. And Gambit still have some money to work with, though, in this round, so it's not going to be too hard for them to buy back up again.
Yeah, they shouldn't have any problems whatsoever. Bondic still has around 9,000. Mo can get his AWP, but by the looks of it, they might give Blade a little bit of time to talk things through with the team. Of course, the sort of mastermind behind this roster. I think people were very excited for him to sort of move into a coaching role. The sort of flip side project seemed to have fallen a little bit flat over the last few years, but even still, well, we've already seen what this guy can do with the components, definitely not up to the standard of the ones he has now. So it's good. I'm excited to see what he can do with this roster. And as said, like the fact that he's probably right in the thick of picking up Axile means that this kid definitely must have some talent.
Thing is, though, I want to see them like stay together as a team. You know, constant roster swaps can plague you, and especially at a time like this when you have the minor and the major right around the corner. So hopefully for them, they can, you know, find a stable 5 and keep that team and really start to work out and hash some things out that they're going to need to compete against the best in the world and return to their former glory when we did see Gambit obviously win the major not too long ago.
Again, it's going to be the challenge onto Ivy, and a little bit of presence over towards B. Of course, the ideal scenario is that you're able to wrap around the back towards that B site and take control from behind, but fact is, it is looking like Gambit is slowing right down into a lot more default plays. I kind of want to see them pick up the pace and just go for another sort of inner rush, because the fact is, I feel like catching Nemiga off guard has been the better play for them, and when you allow them to set up with that AWP and give Robo the chance for multiple fights, he's been winning a lot of them. I have to give him props on that AWP. He has been the best player so far for Nemiga. And that's why I think just negate him. Just go very, very quickly into one of the sites, rush down B ramp, and just take full control, because that's actually where we've seen Mir get a lot of his opening frags, and I just think that they're better at actually holding off that site. Like, we even had a, I think it was a 4-man save from Nemiga when they just couldn't get back in because of all the utility usage.
We even have like a sort of sentry turret being set up in the middle of the outer bomb site again. From different angles, MDS looking to push up here. Jo gets a massive kill that they do need onto Mir. Jo's actually moving relatively well. He's actually 4-1 in opening duels. The one he lost, I think, was towards Ivy when he needed himself. Mo's going to return. Robo's still trying to watch towards Ivy. There's smoke coming from Connector, and Robo again just gets the quick flick over to Bondic. Just like that, Nemiga pick up another round here.
See, did he technically lose the opening duel because he killed himself? So technically,
right. That's one of those like philosophical questions you have to ask yourself.
He's fighting an inner battle.
If a tree fell in the forest and Jo nades himself,
would anyone hear
his stats get calculated that way?
Yeah, I want them to go for a fast break. I think that's like the 3rd round in a row now we've seen them try to challenge A main, and it's failed. Like, they just haven't been able to get past what has been a fairly robust defense from the CT side. So, yeah, I want to see a change. And by the looks of it, they're still going to be trying to fight this same sort of play. Obviously, this time with a lot less in weaponry. A little bit unlucky for Jo, but he has still thrown down the smoke. Bondi's going to go straight through it, but well, he shoots. So they kind of know that he's there, but they're just going to try and avoid that orb altogether and go wrapping around. But that smoke has got quite a big gap in the side of it. The nade also dunking down onto Mir, leaving him a little bit lower. Bondic, in the meantime, just trying to fight on the side. Takes out Lollipop, but the trade's quickly in. Still, though, 4 players here from either side as they've got everybody in the same spot.
See Axel trying to catch him out. He's on top of the bomb train. MDS is going to go for the peek. I think bomb's going to plant in the meantime, or at least in a few seconds. But with MDS just staying alive here, he's causing so much pressure against Gambit. They're trying to react to his position. The rest of Nemiga rotating around as Joe gets another off kill. And Doja, you can see, still looking up towards 7, not able to deal with MDS. Is finally Mo is going to be the one to do so. 3-on-3, and I mean, Gambit has a very real possibility coming out at the end of this half on T side with the advantage. However, Hitmouse and Joe quickly shut me up. And now it's all on Axile.
Oh, nice round from Joe. He has had some high impact frags again. Like in that retake, switching over to the AK and just headshotting pretty much everybody. And yeah, as I said, it is 7-4 down. I wanted to see Nemiga win the next few rounds, and to be fair to them, they did.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to head to a short break. But when we come back, we'll be kicking off the second half here of our first map. Welcome back, everyone, to the elimination match here for the CIS Minor for the Intel Extreme Masters Katowice 2019 Major, live here from Katowice, Poland. I'm Jason Kappen, still joined, luckily, by Tom, as we get underway with our second half here, actually. And Nemiga going to be up 8-7 on their CT side of Train. Now switching over to the T side, we'll see if Gambit can maybe step things up here on the CT side and lock down control, or Nemiga will have a game plan here.
Yeah, again, this is where I think Nemiga will have a little bit of a tougher time. They're going to have to pull out a pretty strong T-sign. Look at this already from the CTs. They've gone right out Ivy, but it may be to their detriment as the T's have just gone running straight in towards the side. Mir's going to be overwhelmed, surely. I don't know how he's still alive. Eventually, Lollipop should finish him off. It's going to come down to a knife battle, and Lollipop will get the freebie kill. But luckily, in the mania that's gone on, the CT side have just decimated the rest of the team. Okay, the bomb's gone down, which will make things a bit interesting in terms of finances. Now, Lollipop can pretty much fall by here. So do you just go, what I would do, personally, save, get him an AK, give him a chance to do some damage.
Thing is, he hasn't been performing too well in this series. He's actually bottom fragging at the moment at 4 kills.
You don't put the doubt on him, though. That would be so much worse. If you start doubting him, he'll start doubting himself.
I mean, he can't hear me.
Not you personally.
Oh, right. Okay.
Team.
Yeah.
You as being the whole, but I think they're actually going to.
So they're going for it. All right, so this is his chance then. I mean, the fact is he could have potentially dropped the AK to someone else and they could have bought armor, but he's going to be going for it. He's going to try to take this game into his own hands. And I mean, to be honest, in their match versus Spirit to kick off yesterday, he definitely did so on Mirage. Able to force them into overtime with some fantastic plays. Joe. Gonna push out immediately and gets caught out by Bondic peeking from Ivy. Axel might be overwhelmed. As you can see, they're trying to run back. They're trying to decide where they want to go, and the Fire's done a hell of a lot of damage. Lollipop down to 4 HP. Gets the kill on Axel, but doesn't have the health to really get too many more.
Yeah, now he should swap that AK, and he has. Hitmouse is going to be the one handed it, but Bondic is doing work as he's got himself a second kill of the round, and now the push is pretty much scripted. As you said, Lollipop's already low, and he's the only one left, so looking like he may find the only kill of the round as he's now going to be rotating back away. Does have the bomb, does have some time on the clock, but realistically with 4 HP and a UMP, the chances of this are pretty slim, and I think this just shows the direct sort of counter of what happened in the previous. Like, we saw the force buy come in from Gambit, they win it, and then they go forward to push into the half. Gambit then win this pistol, and by the looks of it, they're going to win themselves the round as well, and fairly comfortably. Like, this does not look for a second like Nemiga were about to break them.
This isn't even the first time these two teams have met, obviously, and actually the qualifiers to even get here, Nemiga did win 2-0 against Gambit, beating them on Dust 2 with a 16-11 scoreline and a 16-2 scoreline on Inferno. And if we're going to see Nemiga play anything like they did in that qualifier, that means Gambit's going to need to take this map, because I don't think you can change around your Inferno that quickly. However, like you were saying before, their coach here, I mean, Blade gets the option to look things over. And like you're saying, it's not like he was at the bar partying last night. He was reviewing these demos. He was trying to get these guys in shape, prepared for their opponents. And I guarantee he did the exact same thing with their prior match. Yeah,
the thing I would say with the veto, there is no way in hell the Gambit ban Nuke after a 16-2 defeat on Inferno if they are not prepared to play Inferno. Like, it's just not possible. And if they have done that, then they're insane. But you never know. A different day. It's no longer online. You got obviously a little bit more time with the roster as well since the qualifier. So
I'm not going to question the sex god.
Of course. What, would you even to his face? I think he'd put you down. You may be tall, but I think he's got you.
He's got me in other ways, definitely. Snap me like a twig.
I'd watch that fight. That can be the next big YouTube fight. You versus
have you seen?
fight.
Oh, have you seen Deadpool 2?
Yes.
Juggernaut, Deadpool, Doja, me.
Snaps you in half.
Exactly.
Are you going to be enjoying it all the way through like Deadpool was? Like, oh my god, I'm such a
Well,
big
I did
fan.
wear my white pants today, so we'll see how that works out if I get to catch up with Doja a little bit later on. 55 seconds left to go here. And Nemiga do have some pistols looking to go for an inner hit, but 3 players are going to be in the vicinity of this one, so it's not like they're going to have a clean taste, especially with these Molotovs being thrown in, but it's going to come down to Hitmouse to get the smoke and flashes off. I wonder if Gambit's going to try to deny the plant, though. That's my real question, because Doja is up close with the ump. They can easily spray them down if they do head in this direction. They obviously know they're going to be here, too, looking directly at him here, as you can see Mirror. Just a pixel or two off of where they're going to be.
Already, MDS, that's not really what he wanted, although he denies Dosia the extra money, so there's something at least, but there's no way they get this bomb down. They would need an absolute miracle to do anything, and that was basically the strat. Like,
I got it. An absolute miracle.
That was unintentional, but, you know.
Like, what will Scooby do?
Yeah, that one wasn't unintentional. But, yeah, I think that was the whole point of the strat, get the bomb down, and didn't work out. Obviously, only a slight investment into that round, and now we get the big boy buy. Obviously, the loss bonus starting to build up behind Nemiga now, and realistically, it's not a bad one. They've got themselves the AWP onto Robo, although it is Glass Cannon. He was one of the real heavy hitters in that first half alongside Joe, so definitely looking to see if he can find some more openings for the side. Because that's actually the interesting thing. He got a lot of orb kills. Only one of them was actually the first kill, so hopefully he's going to pick up a few more for them here, because getting those opening picks on train is so integral to a lot of the plays you're going to make.
And Doja still maintaining the ump, even though he has about 7,000 in his pocket. Gonna be holding up close on inner. Axel gonna actually push aggressively, and it looks like Nemiga have read into this. Robo's gonna get another one add to the board of opening duels.
Yeah.
In a double, I guess that one. The round's not over just yet. And it feels like Nemiga just trying to feel out Gambit on the CT side. And we're still relatively early on in the second half, so they have some time to do so. But they have to be careful to not let any of these rounds really start to slip away from them, or Gambit can easily turn this little bit of a snowball into an avalanche.
Well, yeah, they need to start whittling down that economy as well. You can see Dosia already around the $7,000 marker, and they've only had a few rounds to sort of make up that cash. Obviously, a little bit lower when it comes to the likes of Mo, because he's been buying up that AWP, but even still, Gambit will be buying into the next round no matter what happens here. So Nemiga not only want to win this round, but they want to keep it relatively clean. Getting down to the 35-second mark, and you see Gambit starting to sort of probe different portions of the map, taking a little bit of control, and I think they may have a little bit of a misread here. They've gone quite aggressively into Pop Dog and don't seem to realize that it's actually going to be the Ivy play where they have absolutely no one. This is pretty much set up for a retake, and I almost wonder if they will just save once the take actually comes in.
Lollipop might be able to actually get a couple of frags here, as you can see. Timing in this game is just insane. I wonder if players go back and just watch how a half a second could have changed how the entire round did go here.
The bomb's down. The bomb's been dropped. The round's over.
Oh my god.
They've actually failed just off of that one kill. I believe it might have been Mo. Just came in and dropped the bomb like right on the last second. Yeah. It looked so set in stone that I was more focusing on the battle that was actually going on. And the second that kill comes in, that's round done. And they should have had that. That was 4 players of the Gambit side, not actually in the A side. The closest was in Pop, and they had the full site to themselves, and they don't get the bomb down. That's a big mistake from Nemiga.
Maybe they just want to make it more impactful when they come back and win. Maybe giving away rounds like that. I don't know how they do that, but
that's the strategy you go for. I want to make it more impressive when we come back.
Yeah. The Jason special. Except we never come back. We just lose because I'm playing. I'm not going to be pushed up.
Never invited back. That's the problem.
Yeah. Well, it's my last minor. Done after this, boys. This seems like Nemiga, they're going to set up for an inside push. Robo with AWP. It's going to be the one to kind of lead the charge at the moment, looking for a sort of pick, and Joe as well, trying to maybe lurk in towards middle. But he will be dropped, and once the smoke does dissipate, I'd imagine Nemiga are going to put their foot on the gas. They do have one smoke out of MDS. He's going to need to land this towards connector, obviously. The flash comes in. Doja, in the meantime, pushing out towards upper. The thing is, no one's coming in his direction. He can rotate back in. No one's even looking towards this upper location as well. Lollipop's trying to go for the plant. He's going to be dropped. The bomb's not going to be put down, and Doja gets himself a double kill.
Oh, he's going to go back for more as well again. And another round in a row where there's just been a huge mistake made by Nemiga. MDS just trying to fight this back versus 4, but that was never going to happen. And see, I understand the ramp push. I understand like avoiding that position. You cannot have somebody watching it.
There it is.
There we go. You can't leave him hanging.
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie, if I was in that situation, I would just not play the round out the next round until I got my fist bump. I tried that with casting, but you'd be more than happy to do this yourself without me here.
Yeah, I would say that that's probably why you're not a professional player.
Yeah.
Just like, I refuse to play.
Well, that and because I'm just terrible at video games. It's one of the two. I think it's yours, actually, not mine. Yeah. Into round 21.
Stubbornness, that's what it is.
I am very stubborn. But you have to wonder what the scoreline would be if we didn't have those 2 rounds switch up like that. Nemiga, we would be tied, right, at 10 apiece. So this really has to kind of hurt their side and the mentality of how things are going. Joe, gonna be a little bit unhappy with that day flying through the window.
I feel like those are just like the tilting days, just where there's absolutely nothing you can do about it, and it's purely just based on timing. But again, looking like they're going to try and get themselves into this B site, setting up for the bomb plant, and actually they've left quite a few players blind, but again, Dosia, he's been a rock on this B site, has Mir to support him. The bomb, well, it doesn't look like it's going down. The flank may just be there, but MDS again is trying to fight for the win. He doesn't want to hand away this round, and the bomb plant definitely isn't his goal at this point in time. Of course, they have lost plenty of rounds in a row, so they do have the loss bonus building up anyway, so money's not going to be an issue, and he's managed to catch Mo. He's made this a little bit more interesting. Of course, the remaining CT players not only have a rough idea where he is, but also have control of the bomb, which is the sort of bigger factor here. But he does have time to play with an Axile spotting him out. That should be him dead to rise. Bondic in the flank. 13-8, the CT side going very strong indeed at the moment, as we haven't even seen Nemiga win a round.
I don't know if I'm reading into this too much. And correct me if I'm wrong if you can recall, but Doja did block a smoke coming in. He was on top of the train.
I didn't.
He let the smoke hit him instead of, I think, bouncing over towards connector to actually stop any sort of rotate from coming in. And because of that, I mean, it allowed the rest of the team to get there. But then again, when you get that many frags, it's not like that smoke really would have changed things. But I just thought it was a really interesting thing. You know, we've seen even sometimes Molotovs being used where people know smokes are coming just to deny the angles that, or at least the position.
Yeah, Mirage window is the big one.
Exactly. So I don't know. Maybe it's just something I'm reading into, but if not, cool little thing out of Doja to do that.
Well, that again, in Mirage window, a lot of players used to try and do that, just stand in the window. But obviously, massive risk of someone just walking out and shooting you. So that's a bit of a safer one, of course, because people are pushing him. But if he did do that intentionally, which then again, this is the man who has his own graffiti in the game for throwing an HE and killing people with the bomb. So he's definitely got the mind for it. So I wouldn't be overly surprised. And the body, of course.
Oh yeah, he's fantastic body. Doja gonna be actually rushed down here. The 8 comes through, only gets 1. Gets a lot of damage done with the grenade, though. It looks like the bomb might finally get planted for the first time in quite a few rounds, actually, since, I believe, the first round of the half, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, that's a lot of damage straight through the smoke. Mir not only finds one, Bondic now chimes in with the second, and again, they're just pinging everybody through the smoke at the moment. Gambit looking a lot stronger than yesterday, and Hitmouse, well, he's left alone in a horrible position. He does have a Molotov, but they've got 2 smokes, so there's no way that the old classic strategy is going to work. He has picked up a bit of utility on the way, but by the looks of it, he's just decided, okay, I'm just going to keep my weapon into the next round. I don't fancy going for the 1v4 today. I
think it's a smart play, considering it's going to be round 14 on the board for Gambit. Again, I hate to, you know, kind of like dwell on the past here, but going back to that round where they had a full outer take with no one on Gambit there to stop them, and yet they didn't get the bomb down in time because I think that was Mo that picked someone off. And that cost them that round, and it potentially costed them the next few. It's obviously hard to predict what would happen from that position, but you would imagine 2 rounds back-to-back like that happening, mentally has to take a big hit and has to be on the minds of Nemiga.
Yeah, the other thing as well is Lollipop is not in the server. Like, he has 6 kills over the whole thing. And again, you can't put everything onto one player, but he needs to be putting up more numbers. Like, he's someone who...
Well, it's not even calling him out. It's just the fact that we saw him get so many impactful kills yesterday in Mirage that we wanted to see that again today. It just hasn't come to fruition.
For sure. You can actually see now Gambit have taken a heavier gamble over to this A site. They've left Dosia alone, which, to be fair, he's done an excellent job over on that B site. Definitely coming up. I think he's got quite a few frags now, up to 16, I believe. And well, the rest of the team are all going to be on A, and that's understandable. I was actually about to comment the fact that Nemiga have only been going B. I think that's 3 or 4 rounds in a row. They've just gone running straight into the B site, and every single time Gambit haven't had really much trouble with it at all. You can see the money really building up over on the CT side, which is a scary prospect. And you can now see that there's some severe confidence coming in for Gambit. They're trying to take control of different portions of the map. They spot no one in A main, so they actually gamble, rotate another player over, but it's just not really needed. There's no one over towards this B site.
Axel, nice little flash comes in for the teammate, allowing that frag to be picked up. And again, another men advantage going over to Gambit. 48 seconds left. Mo, he's going to take down Joe. Sorry. Robo with AWP, he's not going to be able to accomplish too much as Axel again picks up another frag. So on Hitmouse and MDS here to keep the hopes alive for Nemiga. And Mo again is just shutting this down time and time again. And Gambit now going to be on map point.
I'm pretty sure other than the man who got taken down by Axel, everyone else, oh, for God's sake, Bondic's just a little bit...
I think he's doing it on purpose.
He's so close to the monitor that he can't see anything in sort of his peripheral vision. But yeah, other than the man who was taken down in Pop Dog initially, everybody else just individually peeked and took a battle versus Mo. And it is one of those things, it's like, don't give him the space on the CT side to take an individual fight, because although we've seen maybe 1 or 2 shots missed over the course of the map, it's just rare.
Yeah.
And it's a map that he's very, very good at indeed. And the fact is he hasn't even really needed to be the better player in the server. He's got a lot of support from his team today, looking like a much better Gambit overall. But either way, we know that Nemiga can make comebacks. We've seen them do it already to bring it all the way into overtime from very far behind. They've got to try and do it again, as they are now 7 rounds behind, 7 map points for Gambit on their choice.
Ooh, that was a
bit of a miss flash, and Dosia, oh, he almost runs in. Luckily, realized that it didn't quite get past the angle. Now Lollipop is going to be waiting on the other side. And actually, that flash was good, but so good, it actually catches out Axile as well. So he's going to go down after the aggression. Bondic almost falls to the same fate, but the fact is, it is going to be Mo still waiting over towards this Ivy spot. This time, Joe wins the battle.
Well, winning the battle isn't like winning the war here. Does get himself a second, so it's a second battle he's won. Problem is, there's still so many rounds to fight here. Mirror can obviously come in from behind and disrupt this. I don't think Robo's going to expect it. Actually, Robo does turn around. The thing is, the bomb's now down. 45 seconds left to go. Mirror makes the call. You can see immediately. He's like, wait, why is the bomb here? Why was it on Robo? Why was it on the Opera of all people? Now spoken things off as well. Doja coming in with some support. He's got to worry about, obviously, the old bomb train in a few seconds, so someone could be rotating in from there. But 30 seconds left. Don't tell me Nemiga are going to lose this after getting 2 massive opening frags out of Joe.
The thing is, this is such a horrible position to try and get the bomb back from. I think they're just hoping that somebody over peaks into the angle and gets taken down because of it. But they've only got about 15 seconds left coming up on the clock. They need to get into that bomb and quickly. MDS, though, he's done the work. The spray, not quite enough from Dosia. And Nemiga are going to live to fight another day. But even still, the clock almost finished off the game for them.
That wouldn't be the first time something like that happened, too, for Nemiga. We talked about before, you kind of hinted at, we've seen comebacks out of them. It's still going to be a tough ask coming back this amount of rounds in a row against Gambit, especially on T side of Train. Previously, they did on CT side of Mirage. And Lollipop again, he's been on 6 frags for quite a long time. And again, we're not trying to be too harsh on him. We just know the impact he can have once he's woken up on the servers. So maybe into the second map, things will be a little bit different. Again, they did win 16-2 last time they met against Gambit on Inferno, but Lollipop, there we go. We speak of the man. He gets the frag. His ears must have been burning. And now they might be able to get the bomb down here.
Just a fadeaway shot from Miz, going to turn it back into a 4v4 scenario, and they're being whittled down by the grenades thrown by Gambit. Already a long rotation coming in. Still got some decent after-plant positions, though, for the T side, but utility is down to a minimum, as we do see the rotation coming all the way back from Dosia in towards the flank. I think the rest of the team are actually waiting for him to make some sort of play, but he definitely needs to win this battle versus Robo to get them back further into this site. And Robo, is he actually going to miss the timing? That's all it's going to be about, and I think even Dosia's just got it perfect. He finds one, or just about the second round the corner. Dosia adding another to his already ludicrous kill tally. Mir with one more, and MDS is going to be Molotov'd out. Dosia, 3 kills in the end. It looked like it was going to go wrong with the first one. The bomb going to be defused in the nick of time, and Gambit, they take their map in quite a comfortable fashion. Only 1 round on the T side. Either way, we'll be back in a bit with the analyst desk after a short break.